Welcome back.
Why are you speaking like that?
I don't know. I'm
You sound
speaking
like,
seductively. Hey.
Yeah, like you know them late night,
Hey, can you talk into your mic, please?
like XX.
I don't have to. Do you know I have to edit this? You know, when you're low, do you know what do you want me to do? Do you want them? Do you want me to put captions on the episode?
Oh, okay,
Hello,
okay,
hello,
okay,
hello,
sweetheart.
Thank
hello
you.
everyone.
Sweetheart.
Give us Vim.
Hi.
Thank you.
Okay, sweetheart.
Hi everyone.
Okay,
Yeah.
we understand.
You too.
That's stressing
I
me
am.
out.
Oh, yeah.
I always
Melina's loud. I hear her in every recording. It's me that I hear dipping out.
Who's the loudest out of all three of us?
You.
Oh, what?
I don't even know why you're asking.
This
such
is
a
why I don't need to speak close to the mic because it's going through the sound, the vibration.
Yeah, I still have to
connection.
turn. The only reason why it's loud because I turn you up.
Well, okay, don't tell me
Well,
that.
she
up
still
too
sounds
much.
louder than you, so relax.
So
Always getting
yeah.
onto everyone, punk ass,
Innit,
stupid
Dad?
It's been a
ass.
while. It's been a while.
Talking about
guys.
getting on, I'm gonna get onto you. No, I'm joking. No,
Wow.
I ain't gonna. But I have got information. You remember our last conversation, right?
Yes.
And
yes,
stuff.
Yes.
You know, you said we're gonna come back.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm back.
Oh, let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Why is the ice about to pop out?
Let's go, baby.
Are you okay?
Me, this is the way I step aside and leave you guys.
Why
to
do you
deal
step
with
Why
it.
step aside?
No, it's not
Join
gonna
us.
take long because obviously we need to move forward.
Obviously.
And so, but basically, I think one of the, like, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned where it was regarding like, oh, there's no pastors or something like that, right?
Not that there's no pastors.
Yeah.
The concept of pastors, although the illustration of it, so the concept of it is there, as in, you know, and it talks about the shepherd and the sheep and pastor and all that kind of stuff that's there. The actual, oh, you're a pastor and stuff like that, it has been formed over time because Christianity is a part of what comes out of the New Testament. So the whole church, the whole flock, everything like that has been formed after time, basically, which we know. That's why the Bible talks about the fact that the whole Old Testament and New Testament, the books that were put together, there was loads of other books that were taken out. The reason being is because the Romans, as in those who kind of had the books in the first place, basically like, a lot of this is not needed, hence why you have the 66 books of the Bible. It was formed over time. So there's debates about what was taken out and stuff like that, but that's what the point is. That stuff that was formed, it was later on because they had to. Obviously, people were being chaotic, so they had to do something about it. That's mainly it. So not that there isn't such thing as a past or whatever, but it's been formed over time by
Okay, so
the
you
church.
do that. So you do acknowledge that there is references of like pastoral.
Yeah, 100%,
Oh, okay.
100%.
That was on my whole comment.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
Because you're saying, oh, there's like no idea of the pastors, like it's never existed. Like it's like
No.
straightforward.
What
Oh.
he was saying was there's no pastors in like times
Of Jesus
of,
time.
of like Moses and
Yeah.
Jesus.
This is
There's
basically...
no pastors there.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, as we've
No, but it's not about the pastors though. This is what my point is. My
a
point
sense
is
of a leader.
yes, because pastor
Okay.
is it's the whole
100%.
it's the leadership.
Yeah, there's a
of
sense
it.
of a leadership.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
there's a
mean?
sense of a
Because
leadership, but-
it's just obviously in those times it was named different. It was obviously being shown different. Like at the time, the leadership was all disciples were prophets.
Yeah,
Do you know,
yeah.
and it, like Prophet Elisha and everything, and then obviously in the New Testament we
Yeah,
see
it's
the
one, yeah.
disciples and everything. But obviously, there's even churches today that refer themselves as disciples than pastors.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? But I think obviously, like you said, as time evolved,
Yeah.
obviously we use the word as pastoral.
So that was really, what I was effectively trying to say is obviously it's
Yeah.
exactly what Linda was saying. Like it would be obtuse for me to say, oh, there's no such thing as pastors or whatever. My point is that actually when you look at what a pastor is right now, how you have a pastor, you have a church, you have congregation, all of those different things, if you read through the Bible, you can see illustrations, you can see types of it, but actually when push comes to shove, it's non-existent. So my point was, when we were talking about, you know, the blessing and marriage and all that kind of stuff, it's stuff that we, or the organization, Christianity, has created its form, which is not an issue, which is not, you know, I'm not going to dig you in your life and say, I'm just saying, don't get mixed up with you have to do that, because actually it's just something that the church has said we're going to do together. Do you see what I'm saying?
But then moving on to the second point, which was the whole kind of as time went on, we created the whole celebration of marriage when really it should be just the two people and the pastor blessing or whatever and getting the blessing. Actually, in the Bible, there is an illustration of a marriage celebration.
Where?
Oh.
No,
Do you know, it's so funny. You're saying where? You know that funny statement that everybody uses, all you alcoholics use.
Well, the water to wine
when
one.
Jesus turned when do you think Jesus turned that water to wine?
It's true. It was a wedding celebration.
It was
a
a
wedding
wedding
celebration.
celebration.
Okay.
But,
It's true,
and then
that's
what that also
Wow.
highlights.
Wait, hold on. I hate the shade.
You alcoholics! She actually put she looked at us, you know. No, you see this
Why
Christian
you looking at us,
judgmental.
man?
She looked in your
No,
eye.
do you know, God forgive me, not trying to judge my fellow people, but
We don't want you.
I said God forgive me. So, but I was saying
No, that's fair. No,
because
that's
you
a
know,
good point. That's a
do you
good
know
point.
what?
That's a good
Because
point.
everybody always uses that,
Yeah.
like, oh, well, we
But
should
don't you
drink.
think that at that time Christianity was kind of established? Like, okay, we're not talking about like when I think about priests and them not existing, I'm thinking more about Moses' time because Christianity wasn't really established during Moses' time.
It wasn't,
He
no.
was.
No,
he
but
was
it
creating the books that made
Facts.
Christianity now.
Facts.
But this
So
is,
by the
but
time Jesus came,
Yeah.
there was some type of, I wouldn't say there's scriptures and stuff, but there was things that the people were living by
Exactly.
already.
It's
Do
like
you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
So
100%.
by Jesus' time, there were
Laws.
ceremonies. But in Moses' time, were there any ceremonies for weddings, or were they?
No.
just-
but we were
Non-existent.
talking about biblical, and Jesus's time is in the Bible.
But do you
Yeah,
see
but
some-
Jesus and
But
Moses'
we
time
were-
are different.
Yeah, the times are different, but we're now specifying.
Yeah.
When we were having this conversation, he said we're in
didn't
the
say that.
Bible.
It's true. It's true. It's
We're
true.
in the
It's
Bible.
true.
No, that's
It's
fair.
true.
Jesus'
Fair.
times
No,
is in
I
the
agree.
Bible.
I
Yeah,
agree.
that's
I
very
agree.
That
I agree.
that time where what do you call it of that parable, it's in the Bible.
It is
Yeah,
in
no,
the
that's
Bible.
fair
And
point. That's fair
what I
point.
wanted to highlight also just from that, is Daniel, is like which you just highlighted earlier, has about the book. Some of the books being taken out. Some things did occur that we don't know at
No,
those
but-
No,
times.
that's facts.
True.
That's
Do you
very
get what I'm
true.
saying?
That's very
That's
true.
just one of how
That's
many
very true.
weddings that Jesus may have attended,
But the
of a marital
So
event.
while the reality of, I completely agree with Juan, and it's very, very fair, you're right, it was in there. The reality of what I was trying to say was those
Yeah.
different concepts, though, as in the whole blessing and stuff like that, you still really can't find. Although you have so this is what's effectively happened. With pastors, for example, and congregations and flock and sheep, that comes from the parable about the sheep and the flock. And so what they've gone and done is they've taken an illustration of something and they've obviously expanded on it. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's what a lot of Christianity had to happen to why you have it today. And then again, now you're looking as in the future where we are now, all of that has now been expanded. My main point was, while that's good and there's nothing wrong with that, it's about remembering they have been formed, quote unquote, by man, because obviously they've been given the wisdom of God and the inspiration, all that kind of stuff. So we all know that the Bible talks about that. But my point was, they've actually been expanded from things that we as human beings have done, not necessarily this is what God wants us to do. Which is why I go back to that point around, if you push aside everything that happened, what marriage was about was a man and a woman being together.
Which
you
is
see what I'm saying?
highlighted in Genesis. Yeah,
that was really-
which I
do you know what I mean?
understand. Yeah, but obviously, it's just in terms of like the concept of celebrating marriage, it's not new in our like days
No,
or
no, no,
after
no, no.
after BC. Do you
No.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
It's
course, of
like,
course, of course.
That's
of course.
basically that was only my point.
Yeah, it's facts.
But on that actually aspect, this is a question to both of you. To where you are with your faith today, what made it be what it is today? Because obviously, how you are with your faith, it's a reaction, or there's a reason behind it, right? It's because obviously, like from childhood, and obviously, everybody correct me where I'm wrong. I'm just assuming you guys are my friends, that from childhood, your parents took you guys to church. You were brought up as Christians because you went to church with your parents,
Yep.
you know, and whatnot. Where did the turning point happen where you were like, I don't really want this life? Like maybe, I don't know, for you, Daniel, or I don't want to be in this congregation anymore, or I don't want to attend church anymore.
I guess, like history speaking, I went to a particular church that was very, I'm going to use the word militant because I don't want to offend anyone,
Okay.
but it was borderline cultish. Anyway,
Screaming.
yeah. And so, Lynn knows.
Screaming.
And so, where at the time, like obviously growing up, I
Yeah.
grew up. My mum was a pastor.
Okay.
I was born in church, basically.
So you're a PK.
I'm a PK to the bone. Like that's all I've known since
Okay.
I was a baby.
Yeah.
And I left my mum's church and actually became a Christian. Like actually got saved, got a relationship, got blah 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 blah. After that, this was
Okay.
after that. This was in my teenage years.
Yeah.
So I genuinely found God, and regardless of how I am now, I definitely feel like I found God at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was, I think it was where I was going that wasn't helping. So the church or the institution that I was in at the time just wasn't helping that fact. While at the start it was really good, as you get older, you start to read. You start to realize actually it's
Discover
not
things.
as black and white as I might have known kind of growing up. Do you see what I mean? And so, and it's just things like that, like the whole marriage thing, or you know, the all these different things. How it was told to you when you were younger was, oh, that's what the Bible says you should do it. Actually, when you read it, no, actually it's not. The concept of it might be there, but there is no hard, false, but truth basically. It's, you know, you're doing it because as a church you have to tell people to do certain things. You have to use scripture to back it up. But sometimes you can be out of line. So anyway, after I became an adult and I started to read certain things, I was just like, a lot of this isn't. It's not that it's not even necessarily true, but a lot of this has been manipulated. It's been twisted. It's been turned to
By the leaders at the church?
by leaders of the church. So this is
Okay.
nothing to do with Christianity at the point. This is just the church that I'm going to.
Okay.
After that, after I left and we had some like bad occurrences or stuff like that, I was like, okay, let me go to another place where, you know, I'm not getting that. And I found some really great churches that weren't doing that, that were actually just talking about and stuff like that. But at that point, I was, as you say, church hurt so much, I couldn't really heal or recover from it. So while there was a good church, I'm still trying to recover from the stuff that's happened to me previously, especially kind of going into my adult years. And then after a while, I was just like, I found that when I was in church, I was more, this is just for me, I'm not saying this for anyone else. I was more depressed. I was more angry sitting in church. I was more sad sitting in church. And it just was like, this doesn't make any sense for me. I'm coming to church every Sunday, even after finding a place that was good, and actually feeling worse. So I was just like, I can't do it, for me personally. And that's when I realized there was other stuff going on in my life and blah, blah, blah. And that's when I realized to sit and discover what Christianity was. And actually, even though I'm not a Christian, if I look at the basics of what Christianity is nothing as to what you're taught. If you look at Christianity in its really, really basic form.
You don't call yourself a Christian?
No, definitely not. Couldn't be.
But you're not an atheist?
I don't think I'm an atheist.
Would you say you're agnostic?
I think I'm much more agnostic.
Okay.
Because the existence of God for me, while I don't categorically deny it,
Yeah.
the existence of God or there being some sort of being for me probably is still true to me. But I definitely wouldn't call myself a Christian because there's too much in it for me because of what's happened and all the discoveries and stuff like that. It's too much for me to be, I couldn't do that. However,
Yeah.
I definitely do think that there's some sort of higher power out there, because there's so many different things in my life that I cannot explain. I can't tell you any answers.
Yeah.
That might be the only kind of thread that I'm holding on to, but that's, to be honest, that's
Do you
that's
believe
for me.
in Christ?
I believe he was a real individual. It's historic. Do I believe he's the Son of God? Where we're going into depths and paths we might not want to go into. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot. So he's a historic
Because
figure.
you said, do you know, I asked, because you said obviously at one point, you know, even after the whole church, with your mum's church thing, it all happened, you got saved.
Definitely.
So obviously being saved is accepting Christ
Of course.
as your Lord and Savior.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
That's why I was like, because for you to do that, you had acceptance, right?
At the time, yes, 100%. And that's what I mean. So that's why I say
today you've rebuked that. You're
No,
like,
no, it's just, you know, sometimes you get to a point where you have two choices. You can either, you have a truth in front of you and you have to, one, believe in that truth, and one, have to find out that truth is real. But you have to make an active decision to do that. That's why Christianity is about faith and works. You can't have one or the other. With me, I came to the point in my adult years where I said, while I might not know if this is true, I don't have the energy or mental strength to continue
To
to
put the
discover. I can't do that anymore. Where I was personally. Hence why I said, well, while I don't know if Christianity is real, whether God is real, whatever, where I am right now is I can't do that anymore. I don't want to discover. I don't want to search. I don't want to do. I've done all of that, and that for me is like, that's my end. You see what I mean? Doesn't mean I'm completely over it. Like, I don't think the door's completely shut. You just never know what happens in life. But where I am right now, I'm like, that's not for
well,
me.
you would marry in a church.
I probably would to be honest. I'm still quite traditional.
You'd marry in the church, but you're just...
We can't do that because there's a lot of people that are not black that will go around marry in a church that are not Christian.
Are not black.
Yeah, as in they're not Christians.
They're not Christians that grew up in a church or that
they
had
will
parents,
still get married
and they will still get married in a church just because of tradition.
Yep.
I hear that, but obviously I'm just, you know...
But you hear people that are not even a slightly Christian.
Because there's some that like will have Daniel's standpoint and will be like, yeah, I wouldn't marry in a church. I would marry
because there's different types of church hurt. I don't think there's like one brand of church hurt for everybody. I feel like some people can still be within the church vicinity, can go to church for their mum for New Year's or like Christmas. But they just don't want to be there. But they can do it just for the sake of.
Yeah.
But I think.
I just think that there's a spectrum and it varies. Like I don't think it's one fits all when it comes to church hurt. Like some people, like him, he can get married in a church. Some people never want to step in a church again. Do you know what I mean?
Because you know there's some churches as well, that won't allow you. And this is I think mostly with Catholics. I've seen the priest won't allow you to marry at their church unless you've been going a consistent
and that's why some people
goes through Church of England.
And that's why some people will attend church for a couple of weeks just to get married and bounce.
Bro,
I know people
see
have
it
done
all
it
the time.
Bounce.
Oh, you boys do it a lot. That's why I meant not black.
If I'm being honest,
you boys that have never stepped into church unless they were in primary school will say they still want to get married in church.
They'll still attend church at Christmas. Still attend church Easter.
Do mass.
They'll do mass. They'll do communion.
Or just
all of them. Just not just for marriage, but as in they still believe it. Oh yeah, that part is still holy.
Yeah.
They have no affiliation to Christianity. They don't follow it. They don't live it. They don't read it. But because of how they've grown up, or because of what they've been taught, they still keep that sacredness. Whether it's right or wrong is different.
I'm not a Catholic and everything, but I went to a Catholic school, and both of my schools that I attended at secondary school were Catholic, right? One was Roman Catholic, whatever. But and to get into one of them, you had to obviously show proof you're Catholic, and the proof is obviously communion, Holy Communion,
Did they give you a certificate or something like that?
Yeah, and confirmation, and you had to show confirmation, and
because I showed mine, I didn't get into your school.
You showed your confirmation.
Yeah, I started off as a Catholic. I was a Catholic first, and then I became thingy. And I still didn't get into your school.
I've never grown up as a Catholic. Let me just put it out there. Yeah, I've never grown up. Both parents are Christians. They grew up as Catholics because of my grandparents, right? But with my parents, since I've been in this earth, they've taught us. We've grown up as Christians. Yeah. I went to that school, I applied to that school just to get in because obviously the reputation. My parents did what we're saying. Like my dad took me to a whole Catholic church. We were attending every Sundays. After going to our church. We'll go to their church because the Catholic church is in the morning, isn't it? We'll go to that in the morning, then go to our church after, all just to get a bloody confirmation certificate to say that I've done confirmation and communion, and what do you call it? And you know. The buzoba, the stupidness of it all. Yeah, I had to even speak in Lingala because it vexes me. I didn't get in. I got put on the waiting list.
Same.
I got put on a bloody wait.
Where did you apply?
Huh?
Where did you apply?
I went to
Oh, actually, no, don't worry. If
you know the mixed school.
The
mixed school. I went to the mixed school, and then I went to and then I went to that afterwards. But that in year 7. My parents had put the girls' school has my first, and then the mix has my second. And I wanted to go to the mix because my primary school was mixed. I categorically, in my head was like, I'm not going to the girls' school. And I was like, and you know, all the stuff you hear about girls' schools, I'm just like, I'm not for it. I'm doing that. And from year 10, year 11, 10, 11 years old, I'm a whole tomboy.
I was just about to say this.
I
was a tomboy. I was doing what was they calling it back then?
I've seen the pictures.
When you dress all in black.
Goth.
I was doing goth.
I've seen the pictures of that
proper
one.
emo.
I've seen the pictures of that one.
I remember when she showed me, I was just like, what? is
Okay,
going on
firstly,
here?
you guys don't respect me.
So the
Definitely
money.
not. Definitely not. Definitely.
Demonic.
Straight
Go
hair.
for it.
Do you know what?
It
Your
was the-
mum
it was
went
the- it
through
was-
it.
I- Have you seen the
Auntie went
shave?
through
Have
it.
you seen the shaved hair?
Auntie went through it. I
Aye.
don't care.
I listen. I
We
send me a
ride out
couple.
for
I'll put out.
auntie.
I'll put it up for the episode. Just send me a couple. No, it actually.
If I bottle you now, there's some.
It doesn't make sense if you don't. You actually should let me put up a couple too. Just send me one, brother. I want you
Just
to
send me
one.
one.
So I'll put up right now. I'll put it on the corner right here. Right.
No. No, do you know what's so funny? Oh my god, so that happened. When did the whole exercising, going to communion, doing all that
Bloody
to
hell.
not just to attend a school, because to all the black parents, I won't say African, but I guess to all the black parents,
The Catholic school was better.
Yeah, they
it was
felt
more
strict.
better reputation.
Yeah.
And everything. And obviously, due to the fact they had all these restrictions of you have to have a certificate, for them, it's like,
yeah.
this is
This is
good.
what we want.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, yeah. I actually get it now being older. You know the reason why I want to get married in the church? It's not
Yeah.
because I want to have a blessing or anything like that. You know the reason why I want to get married in the church? This is going to sound dumb. I want my wedding in a nice olden church. I don't want my wedding in a community hall. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting married in an old school hall. I'm not getting married in a community hall. I'm not getting married in no. Me, I want pictures. I want 2 buildings. I want to see Christ on the crucifix there. That's fine by me. I don't have an issue with that. It's
I feel
aesthetic.
like a lot
I
of
am
them
I
are
am literally
aesthetic.
it's aesthetic. I don't care about them. So this is the thing, yeah. The reality of it is as I'm growing up, I get why they do it. Now, do I want my kids to go to Catholic school? Based on what I know historically, no, actually. Because Catholic schools have actually been known to be quite
That's
bad.
actually the worst.
It's actually the
It's
worst.
If you
Actually,
think about it, the
bro.
mixed
They're
one,
actually very bad.
the mixed one.
The mixed one.
Well, was
to
always
be
a
honest,
mix-up.
the one that I went to, it was. Oh Jesus! I can't lie. Looking
we
back
always
now,
heard stories about your one.
looking back now, yeah, I can't
Please,
lie.
please.
I'm actually happy that from obviously year 10 and above, I was out of there because that school was chaotic. It was.
Is that what you're giving me? Give me the fucking drink,
Because
bro.
we've got.
Wow.
Do you want to do another episode? Have you want to roll?
Wow.
Oh, yeah, no.
See, I'm trying to help you.
Are you helping?
Turned
No
water
one, to be
into
honest with you.
wine.
This is.
Bye.
even better.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
finished it already. I hate you.
But it was just so it wasn't the best, but it was obviously the reason got put on the waiting list. And then obviously 4 years later they contacted me going, we have a space now.
That's so mad that your
come.
parents even
crazy.
still moved to you after 4 years.
But it was because
Of what they were told, innit? That it was better.
no, it wasn't even that. It was at that time in my private life, there was obviously things that had happened in our house, in our household, and everything, and like obviously we had tragedy that had occurred in our household, and it was just a lot. Can't lie. At school, it was just all like
People were asking you questions and stuff.
it was because I missed a bit of school, and then after that I came back. That period of my time, can't lie, it's now a blur of like how I even moved from the school to the next because so much was happening at that time. That was also the time where I also lost my faith because of what had occurred, and it was just a lot. So here I am. I didn't want to move because obviously at that age now they're not talking to my parents, they're talking to me. So I obviously went to the interview like with the head teacher. My mum was there and he was just like, if you don't want to move, no one's forcing you, don't have to. I was like, bro, I'm not moving. I don't care, I'm not moving. Like, I can't do it. And then my mum obviously and my dad was all hysterics and was just like, oh, you just go, like, you know, anything. They told my whole like aunties and uncles, everybody was on my phone every day. Like, it's like, yeah, just remove the bit of stress, you know, what's already happening, And, you know, after a while, I was just like, do you know what, how bad can it be? Like, and at that point as well, I didn't care much. And I was like, if anybody tries me, I'm actually going to lose it. Like, I was not on it.
Melina's about it. Don't let God face you.
Yeah,
Don't let her God thing face you.
Don't
I've
be
actually
deceived.
changed.
Don't,
What do you mean?
Don't do this podcast and think that it's just us two that are the bad ones. She's actually the worst.
She's not bad.
actually the
but
worst.
she's-
Exactly.
She's actually the worst.
I'm-
Don't give her lightness. No, listen. Don't be deceived.
Everyone's got a loose screw.
Everybody's got a screw. Everyone's got a button that is pushed. Don't sit
No,
here.
but it was a whole moment for me, like a whole good 3 years of like a whole lot. So it's just how everything happened at the same time, anyways. But yeah, I ended up moving. It was actually crazy because when I moved, and everything, like our head of obviously got told like what was happening. So like the teachers were very like docile with me, like not trying it. But my form tutor wanted to come for me one day, and I said, "Yo, I'm not the one. Do you know what school I've come from? Do you know what school I've come from? I'm not the one." And she sent me out and everything, and I was just like, "Bro, call my mom now. Send me out. Let's do this." What?
You guys were good, you know. I was scared of my parents at school, bro.
No, but do you know at that?
I was actually a good child. Believe it or not.
No, at that moment where everything was happening.
Define good child. Are you
where
sure?
everything was happening.
You've told me. I
had no care. I had no care.
Yeah, but I get that.
Do you know what I mean? I had no care.
Like,
and even
who gon' check me?
Yeah, who gonna check me?
Who gonna check
like
me?
with the shit I'm going through, you gonna do you know what I'm going through?
No, I hear you.
And so after that, like, but yeah, and I remember there was a time when my friends, because we weren't allowed phones, but we had phones. My friends from like from my old school called me and they were like, "How's it going? Is it okay?" I was like, "Yes, fine." They were like, "Do you know if anyone tries you, we'll come down, you know." This is like the guys and the girls. I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "No, it's cool. They're girls. Like, what are you guys gonna do? Beat up girls? Like, do you know what I mean?" They're guys from that school were wild. They're tapped. But it was just going back to the point, like, obviously, as a parent, you got to do what you got to do, innit?
Yeah, no, I get it.
My parents sent me to a whole Catholic.
I get it.
But when I actually attended, we had to, because in the girls' school, we had a chapel and everything. And we had to, what I didn't do, I'd say the Our Father, because that's in the Bible. But I wouldn't say the Hail Mary. I would stand there quiet. Like, they would be saying it. They would be reciting it.
What were you afraid of?
Huh?
What were you afraid of?
Wasn't afraid of anything, but it was in terms of my belief. It's like...
They're praising Mary,
yeah. Okay. And it's like, no, in what I've grown up to know, and in the Bible, it's saying we speak to God. Yeah. You know, the free...
don't say nothing about Mary.
You know, the God, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So Mary was the vessel. Why are we still holding on to Mary? Like, in those concepts, and that's also the concepts that differs Christians and Catholics as well. Because I think with Catholics, they are stuck on the whole Christ on the cross. But as Christians, they know after the third day, Christ risen, Christ left that. There's a life.
There's an after.
And everything. So I think that's what it is. Yeah, I just never did it. I was just, did a communion because, communion is also biblical, but everything else, it was just like, no. Why didn't you get in?
I don't know, because I was actually Catholic when I was born. I was baptized in a Catholic church, everything. I don't know, maybe because I didn't continue as a Catholic person. So I think
because you did the goth hair.
I think they wanted you just shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. I think there was a point. I don't know, maybe I'm making it up, but I'm sure there was a point that maybe year 9 they allowed me to come in. But at that time, I was just like, I'm not moving. And my mum, it was so convenient because it was close to my house. My school was behind my house, like I'm not saying
the one you attended.
Yeah, the one I attended was literally behind my house.
So, and I think this is what it was with my parents as well, because the girls one was very close to my house compared to the other one. Yeah. And after a while, I just got used to it. It was just me, the whole concept of like being around girls. Can't lie, it was mad.
I don't think I would have been able to cope.
Sitting there was a time I remember so well. It was in my maths class. I sat down because I was sitting a bit back. I looked around. And I was like, shit, I'm surrounded by girls, just girls. It was mad. Knowing that obviously I've come from like
mixed schools.
And I was just like,
that must have been such a shock. To the system, do you know what I mean? Like, imagine you're constantly around, because like I don't know if you've ever heard it, but this whole idea of like girls or people that go to same-sex schools come out really like hypersexualized because they're not around
They used to
like
tell us that.
other sexes.
They used to say
of
that.
As
Yeah.
in the girls' schools.
Yeah, like girls and
Which
boys.
is
not
Like,
bad.
the
Which is
boys
ar-
come out really, really horny.
Which
and
is
the girls
argu-
come out
Do you know
really
what? That's
No, but
hypersexualized.
do
you
you know
know-
what? That's actually bullshit because they're actually worse in mixed schools. But it's you know the reason why. Do you know the reason why? Do you know the reason why? Because they used to tell us the reason why that was, why we used to hear it was because they're not near guys.
Yeah,
And so,
which I think is true.
but
When
I
you're
don't-
not interacting with men.
I
You
believe.
don't-
Do you know
what?
what? Do you know what? I believe that's
She
true.
went to
I
same
went
sex,
to.
let's hear what
And
she's saying.
do you know the first thing? One of the first things when these girls were getting to know me was, how is it going to a mixed school with boys?
It's
I,
so
cou- I couldn't.
sad.
I really couldn't comprehend that question. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, "What do you mean? How is
'Cause
it?"
they haven't been around men.
It's mad. Like they were all just like, "Oh yeah, how do the boys act like when you're in the class?" Da 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 da. And I was just like,
Are they not around
I
boys?
was like, I
Are
don't.
they not around boys in real life though?
No, but this is the thing. When would they be? Because for
And
the
it-
parents to send them, you know, also need to understand.
course
Some
they would
parents.
be round
No,
boys
no,
in real
listen,
life.
listen. Some people send their kids to same-sex schools so that they are never around the
Yeah.
other gender.
No, that's what it was. So it's like you focus more on the work
Yeah,
on school than getting distracted
But
by
it was
boys.
often
As you grow up, you think, oh,
I get
you know,
it.
boys distract girls.
I get it, but it was often disproved that a lot of the girls that went to all same girls schools, they weren't any better off than
Nah,
anyone that
I
went to
saw
mixed
them
schools.
being
No,
hypersexualized.
I saw that
Because they will
I
come around our schools around the end of the day, hang around the school gates, trying to talk
yeah,
to the
and,
man.
and also because they had this school called the all boys school, St. Ignatius. Boys used to come down to like the area of where
Yeah.
our school was, and these girls will get
Gas.
extremely excited.
Girls will get, whether they go to all girls school or mixed school, they'll still get gassed. I
Yeah,
don't see that.
no, because
mixed schools aren't doing that.
Mixed schools,
are
the
going to
girls,
Well, girls
another
will gas
school-
when boys will come round them.
Bruv, if mixed schools
Nah.
are going to another schools to beef, it's not to go and get attention.
It was to
Do you
get.
understand
It's
what we're
to
trying to
fight.
say?
It was to fight.
If we're going to other schools, it was to fight someone.
Why do you
It
think that
wasn't
the
because we
boys,
saw a
the
buff
boys
girl.
from a mixed school were like, "We'll come in there, we'll bang them up."
Bro,
They got the girls at the school, like they don't
Yeah,
need
they
no,
don't need no other girls.
girls. Like it was mostly the all boys schools that were coming to the girls schools. Like
that's how
I'm
we
just
used
saying,
to
like,
hear it.
I want to obviously, it's really and truly it's personal experience. So I'm only going by what I know. The even my friends that went to like
Yeah,
St.
I
John's
guess
school,
what I said.
they weren't.
Everyone's
They
experience
weren't.
is
It was
different.
just like I
Everyone
was
is-
like, oh, you're
everyone-
still horny. Whether it's all girls school
Yeah.
or it's mixed.
But
We're still
the
horny
thing is,
kids.
the boys in the mixed schools, because obviously I went to both. So the boys in the mixed schools, they were horny, but they were interacting with the girls in the school.
Yeah,
Do you know
so-
what I mean?
yeah.
So it was kind of like
Localized.
yeah, and
Me personally, though,
subdued.
saying that me personally, I'm
Yeah.
not saying this for anyone else. Me personally, I think you should go to a mixed school. I
I
think
agree.
you
Yeah,
need
I
to
agree.
experience.
I don't think I'd send my
I wouldn't send my.
like,
I wouldn't. Well, my children don't go to. My kids don't go to same-sex schools. They go mixed schools.
I
They
think
need to
it's-
interact with both.
Yeah,
I
because
don't.
life is both.
Life is both.
Life
At
is-
work,
You're not
Life-
gonna protect. Like the reality
exactly.
of it is, as being a parent as well, I'm actually realizing I'm not like as much as you might think in your head they're more protected. They're actually not.
I
They're
think
not.
That myth is bullshit.
No,
is
I
my
think
point.
the myth that was with like all one sex school was that they will become lesbians or gay. I think that was the myth that
yeah.
I used to hear, that they would all be like
I think I've heard that now. I don't think I was hearing that when we were applying.
not with
But
when
we're hearing that.
no,
No, you're right. We are. So the
No,
reality.
but I was hearing it like has in what do you
But the
call it?
common-
Has a child as well, like you know.
Really?
But the common.
Yeah, because they'll be like, oh, what do you call it? Them girls in that school are like all lesbians. Do
Do you know what it
and
is,
I'm
yeah?
like,
But the common denominator was when we were growing up, obviously, I guess I'm a little bit older. The myth was
Yeah.
that if you send someone to an all-boys school or all-girls school, the myth was that they'll be more protected and they'll be less, they'll be
Just-
away
yeah.
from guys. But actually, then obviously as we got older, they then started to use this thing that, if you go to all-girls school, they're going to be more this way or more that way. But again,
But
it's
you
all
know
just
what
bullshit.
was weird about that school, yeah? The all-girls school that I went to, it was that when you reached sixth form, it turned mixed. So the sixth form was mixed because it had.
Were they all like that?
So
Was it just
from
that
year
one?
7 to 11, it's all girls, and then from if you want to do sixth form at the school, they invite boys in, and I think that was just strategically done for money.
I was just about to say that. That's money.
That's just much.
Yeah,
because
because it
you're
didn't
gonna
make
You get
sense.
more funding.
You're not really gonna make much if you're doing all girls sixth form or college. It's not gonna make any sense to you because
And
the
do you know
numbers
what?
will be
And
smaller.
do you know what? Today, that's all scrapped. That's the school I went to doesn't even exist.
Really?
Same.
The building is there. The building is there.
your school.
Bruv, it's not the scrapped at the convent. Anyone can go there. Muslim,
You're
non-Christian, Christian.
Oh,
You
yes.
are
They
It's
scrapped the
called
religious aspect.
funding.
That's it.
It's called funding.
They strapped the religious
When
aspect.
when the
scrapped my whole
conservatives
school,
came
that
into
shit.
Really?
when the
Whole school
conservatives came into power, they had to do
They
that because they
demolished
couldn't
it.
last.
Yeah, it's gone.
No way.
Yeah. They've got rid of the whole thing.
Why?
They did it. They
To
did
what,
it.
make-
They did it shush shush.
more buildings?
They did it hush hush.
To what? To get more
God knows what they're gonna do. Probably make a high rise out
property.
of it. Yeah.
That's
One bit of it is listed. So
That's-
they can't
Hey,
get
do you
rid
know
of
what?
it.
There's a few schools that I've even seen. Like, there's a school on not too far where I live in Southeast,
Yeah.
where it was a full school. It's been turned into flats, but these people are pricks. They haven't changed it so it looks like flats. It still looks like a school.
Screaming.
I'm done.
Listen,
So they refurbished it.
swear they didn't even refurbish it. If they refurbish it, then I'd understand.
No, but
when
you
you
know
look at the
I've
pictures,
gone
it looks like a school dorm.
I've
No
gone into some
way.
clients'
Bullshit.
houses, yeah,
Huh?
where I've gone into some clients' houses where they were mental health hospitals, and you can still see the whole
bars.
layout. No, just the layout.
Yep.
There's no bars in mental health hospitals.
Yeah.
Oh,
You think
Yep.
it's not a prison.
okay.
It's a
sorry.
prison, but not
It's just.
physically.
It's just.
Man
a
said
bit-
bars.
physically
you
look
know.
one. She said bars, you know. But yeah, so they meant it like they look. No, and I felt so creeped out. I felt
No,
like there was
honestly,
ghosts.
mad creepy.
Like, you know, it was the first time I felt spirits. I
No
could feel there was
way.
spirits there. I was walking through the hallway to someone's home. The inside of the home looked great, but literally the hallways looked like a hospital.
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
so
I've been
wild.
to. I've been inside a property building that used to be a church.
Really?
Like from the outside, you
And
could
you
see
can
the
see-
whole
Oh, there's
triangle
quite a
shape.
few. There's quite a few.
Yeah,
of them, you know?
church. But then when you go in, it's all like now changing to apartment. Like,
So my
flats.
my old
but it
church.
looks so nice inside.
That's exactly what happened to my old. We used to have church in this building, somewhere in Southeast, yeah. And it was a church for years, and then basically, the council were basically, you're not making us any money. You're in the nicest way possible. Church is not making us any money. So if you bought a church years ago, then you're cool.
Yeah.
But if you were trying to do planning permission as a church now, basically,
That's amazing.
unless you're gonna make any money or there's anything for the community or you're benefiting the community,
Yeah.
you're
You're
not gonna
out
get
of it.
yes. So
That's why
basically,
KICC
they
is
booed us
in
out. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
They booed us out.
Yeah, that got booed because of the Olympics.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So they
were
booed them
trying to
out,
find
and they
places
turned
in
everything
London
into
to
like
hide.
flats and
It
schools.
wasn't happening. It
To
was-
go over straight away. Unless you're making money.
Doesn't make sense.
It
The
doesn't
thing is, you
make
can be
sense.
making money, but at the end of the day, it's about if the government can make more money
Yeah.
building
The
houses.
exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can be making money. Pastor Shimolowo is a millionaire. Let's be real.
But he was making money for
Pastor
himself.
Shimolowo.
He wasn't making money for the government.
But yeah, by the time they take taxes and stuff,
Yeah.
he's still making some
He's
type of
still
money for
making.
the government.
Yeah, he is.
It's still
And he's a
relatively
registered
small
charity.
in comparison to the fact that you could build flats and houses and schools and cheapies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
and make
That's
much more.
true.
The government's not
Yeah, of
stupid.
course.
And the council know that, which is why they deny a lot of these applications,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
now.
I remember when
It's just the
Pastor
reality of it.
Shimolowo used to preach about how everywhere was denying his planning permission.
Yep.
And when he eventually got one, it's all the way in Kent.
In Kent.
Bruh.
Right outside of London, bruv.
Yeah,
they
but-
moved out.
Bruh.
But the church is still thriving though.
Of course it's thriving.
Of course it's firing.
They make sure that there's transport links. Like they've
Yeah.
got
Yeah, they've got
coaches
bus
that come
that gets.
from
Yeah,
Hackney.
yep. I remember that.
Stratford.
I remember
yeah,
that.
they've
South
got
London.
everywhere.
I remember that.
Southeast, East London,
Yeah.
wherever you want.
There's one in Peckham.
There's KICC everywhere.
Everywhere.
No, as in no. I'm saying there's a coach that will pick you up from Peckham and take
Yeah.
you all the way there.
Yeah,
I remember that
everywhere.
from years ago.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
It's Morning
That's
Lane.
nuts.
But
Morning Lane comes all the time.
I attend the one in Wolferstone because that's really that's close.
It's close.
Yeah,
it's
Hoe
enough.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's enough.
But I do sometimes go to
Irony
the one.
on the name.
The
But
one,
yeah.
huh?
Said irony. irony in the name of the street.
Very. Do you know what? There was a time I was like, wow, like we're really trying to save souls here.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hey, it's a good enticement. Come to Hoe Street.
Come to High Street.
What they got there? What they got going on?
And
Where,
we're like,
where you
where
find that at?
Where are we? At church?
What they got there? I need
What
that.
happened to the hoes?
Where the hoes at?
Where the hoes
Sorry,
at?
I meant the Holy Spirit.
I'm screaming.
I'll bang in your face. If you invited me to church, then I'll bang in your face.
Ah!
Excuse me, I would definitely invite you to church.
No, if you invite me to church under the guise,
That,
I'll bang your face. Tell me I asked the Holy
I
Spirit.
remember I sent my friends to church thinking, they said, yeah, there's going to be dance competitions.
Hey, that's what that's what SPAC used to do. They used to do this thing where, I don't care who they are, I don't like them anyway. That's what SPAC used to do. So they used to do this thing, where some of the girls would try to chirp the guys to bring them to church, and then basically it was a trick, innit?
That.
Absolute villains.
I heard about
Absolute
that.
Please,
criminal.
Pastor Toba, I don't want any of your jokes. Please. I'm not involved in any of these comments.
Yeah, honestly, fuck
Disclaimer,
that whole
I'm not
organization.
involved.
This is just for me. Forget them, they're not
Okay.
part of this.
I'm not a part of it.
Yep,
Did you
that's
hear
right.
that?
Said it.
Okay.
Daniel,
You know my number. You know where my email is.
You know your-
Find me. Yeah.
Obviously, you're a whole father, right? And so, and this year, this month was Father's Day, by the way. Like
last week.
Yeah, I
Did
feel
you not say
like
Happy
I feel
Father's Day
like
to me, you nutbag. It was on Sunday.
I feel like it was. I feel like it was very, it was more out there, like in celebration of actually.
It was this time.
in comparison as
was.
it is before.
Do you know what it is? Because we're always cussing men.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone was
Do you
like,
know
oh,
what?
let's give him a break.
You know what? Yeah, someone made a very interesting comment. Actually, got me thinking about it because we actually all do it. So, but I get why we do it. So don't worry. I know why it happens. But it did get me thinking.
Okay.
When it's Mother's Day,
Yeah.
what do you all say? You'll say Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Thank you, gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to the active, able fathers that are there, who are around, who are doing shit, who are there to give me shit, who are present, who haven't gone missing, who ain't got 60 kids in 60 other countries, who ain't dead ass motherfuckers. Happy Father's Day to you and you alone. Oh, it got me thinking.
Let me just drink
How
my
often
water.
do you have a shit mom and how often do you have a shit dad?
No, you're
Right.
right.
That is
No,
the
you're
reason
That's
why.
the reason why.
No, but let me explain something to you. Even I did it. And it got me thinking, wow,
Because that is
fathers
what happens.
actually are useless.
Yes, but you
because
know.
what? The only, no, I
But
100%
even the
agree
ones
with it.
that are around, are they even present?
Well, this
Well,
is the thing.
okay.
This is the thing. So I sent a tweet and I said, Happy
Vic,
Father's Day to the active and present fathers. Someone goes, why did you have to say it like that? And I said, because there's a big difference between fathers that want to be there and fathers that are actually there, not just in presence, but actually in love. And that was my point. That's the thing. A lot of fathers do this thing where I'm giving to my children, I spend time with them or whatever, so I'm an active and present father. But actually, you're not, because you're not there out of love, or you want to be there, or you're actually investing in
that's
their
I
children.
feel like
Children
that
can feel it.
Yeah, they can.
100%.
Like your
100%.
your presence isn't felt.
Yeah.
Like
The children can feel
you're
when I feel
you're
like a
trying to buy
burden.
you're trying to buy them with money and material
Exactly.
stuff, and
It doesn't make-
kids. It doesn't make
All
sense
they
for
want
kids, you
is
know.
for you
Facts.
to read them a
To be
bedtime
around,
story.
Facts.
yeah.
But it really, no, you're actually right. Honestly, I stopped there for a minute and I was like, yeah, I saw all of the posts.
Yeah.
So I remember I was looking at all of the Father Day posts, and all of them they've all got seasoning in them.
Active, yeah.
All of them have got
Yeah.
ingredients to it. But when it's Mother's Day, because obviously we know why, the reality of it is even if there are some bad mothers, it is relatively small in comparison to bad fathers.
Yeah.
Which is why we have to put the disclaimer. So the reality of it is the point I was really trying to make was we have to do better as fathers. I'm obviously talking about us as a collective. I know I'm not a bad father, but it's still all of us. We gotta do better.
And this is why I brought it up here, because I feel like Linda said, and you kind of highlighted a bit, like about the whole bad father. Like there's, it's always highlighted, but there's actually good dads out there. There's actually men who are bringing up the kids on their own.
Yeah.
Like where the mom just decided to.
I can't lie. When the mum decides to go peace out, A-Town, and I'm just like,
I don't.
you
for
do
me,
you, girl.
yeah.
Because it's not every day that the woman should be left with the kids. Sometimes you go and be a hoe. Go and enjoy your life.
But
Because
just
there
but
are
just
men that will
no,
have.
but just like leave your kids in the dust like that, though.
It's not in the dust. They're with their dad.
No, but you've given birth to these kids and you just... That's
How
what I'm saying.
often? The thing is, I
Very
hate
small
that. I
number.
hate that there's a stigma behind women leaving their kids, but there isn't a stigma behind men leaving their kids.
No, I feel the same in
Because-
both. For me, it's both.
No, but it's less. It is less.
No, but
It's
there's
definitely-
more of a stigma.
You
for women.
personally,
Yeah.
but I'm saying in reality,
Yeah.
there is much more of a stigma to women leaving their
Yeah,
kids.
because they feel like it's a maternal thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you should want to have kids.
Yep.
This is what I don't.
Yep.
I hate discussing with
Yep.
people that I don't want children because they'll be like, "Why don't you want kids? What's wrong with you?"
Yep.
No,
Excuse me.
I
Yep.
understand, like, well, if somebody doesn't...
Yeah.
Because I don't think people actually...
They don't deep.
They don't deep.
They don't deep.
Like,
It is
how much
more
effort?
harrowing to bring a child into the world and you're not mentally prepared.
100%.
You look at your
100%.
child and you can now see your child is mentally disturbed because you weren't mentally prepared
Yeah.
to bring the
Right.
child into the,
Do you know
into
what?
the world.
Do you know how it's so common? Because my friend, right, she just gave birth not long ago.
Yeah.
She's in a stable relationship. She's married. She got married. She did it all the correct way. Do you get what I mean?
The correct way.
Yeah. Has a Christian, us, you know.
No, I have to do that because I don't want people to feel offended because there's no real right
Yeah,
way
yeah,
to
no,
have
no,
a kid.
the
Do you know what I mean?
That's
yeah.
true. That is
But
true.
I,
get
the way
what
I
you're
believe,
saying.
the way I believe,
I get
for
what
me,
you're saying.
yeah, my
I get-
belief
yeah,
and my
yeah,
faith,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, but
Just disclaimer.
yeah,
I like that. Though. That
yeah,
was true.
yeah,
That's
it's true, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously but obviously you know you got given a time, an estimate of when the baby's gonna arrive. Doesn't always go to plan. Hers didn't get to go to plan, right? So the baby came earlier than expected. So
There's a fan. It's not a spirit.
yeah,
moving, it's not-
yeah, just in the
Please.
comments.
I've seen it twice now. I said you. They'll think we're doing podcasts with ghosts. I beg.
Oh my
They
god!
come and kill
Just see
me.
the cup moving.
It's just been moving. Maybe, what's going on?
It's like who's that you're playing with?
Do you know what I mean?
Like playing, move the cup.
Pastor Toby is not selling his minions.
It's because that's cussing smack. It's because I cussing smack. And
Yeah, that face moving around.
Leave Pastor Toby alone.
I'm not even here,
Hey,
bro.
that is jokes, man.
I actually can't
There's
do.
spirits in the room.
I'm not here.
I can't. I actually can't do.
But yeah, so your friend's
Yeah.
baby
So
came early.
yeah. So the baby. Then obviously they were like, the baby's not gonna come. Obviously, I don't want to put her business more out there,
Yeah.
but it wasn't gonna come out on the due date.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking to her, and obviously she's fearful, and I'm like, why are you fearful? She goes, I don't feel ready, Melina. Like I don't mentally feel like I'm ready for like this baby to arrive. Like I was trying to mentally prepare myself because she was still working and everything, and you know she was like, yeah, I had a mental kind of picture plan of like when I should start my maternity leave, so then I could start planning, like, you know, resting, winding down and getting into the mentality of becoming a mom. But now this child is gonna come anytime now, yeah, and I don't feel like I'm ready. And I had to tell him, like, no matter what happens, whether the child comes now, tomorrow, you're ready, okay?
Yeah.
Believe that you are ready. Like, you have us. Like, I had to tell her, like, you're not doing this alone. You have your husband, you have your husband's family, you have me, you have my mom, like, because we're very close in it. So you have a community. Whatever you will go on, you won't do this alone. Like, you won't have to do this alone. And we're always going to be here. And I had to kind of reassure her. And it's that is showing, like, the woman, it's not that she's alone. It's not that she's a single mom or whatever,
Yeah.
like, all
She
her
has
man is
support
saying,
and she
yeah,
still doesn't feel
she
ready.
doesn't feel ready.
But this is what I'm saying.
It takes a lot.
I feel like even becoming a mum with, if you have the conventional ways of having a husband, family around, whatever, it still lies on you as the mum.
That's
Because
it.
you will still always feel alone. The man will probably be working. You'll be on maternity leave. You are the one that's left alone with that child.
baby.
And this is why I say, before people even think about having a child, go and see a therapist. Because you don't know if you are actually... Having a child might tip you over the edge. You might already be
true.
on the edge.
Facts.
And it might be having
Facts.
a child that now tips you over and you find yourself in
Facts.
depression. People think
Facts.
postnatal depression is just because you've
It
had
just
a baby.
arrives.
Depression
No.
has been pending.
Yeah.
Depression has been pending,
I
and
never
it
thought
was a
of it
child
like
that
that.
took you over the edge. People
Facts.
don't understand that therapy isn't just for people that are wanting to slit their wrists or whatever else. Therapy are for people that have gone through things in life and you've swept it under the carpet.
You don't even know you got it.
And you don't even know.
yeah.
It takes life-changing things like marriage, children, just
Yeah.
things that happen in your life that you never planned for
Yeah.
to take you over the edge.
Like I remember when I had, like, it's so funny you said that. When I had my second kid, when I had my first child, I was absolutely fine. When I had my second child,
I was just going to ask about like your experience.
when I had my second child,
Yeah.
that was when. So I've had depression for years. When I had my second child and his birth was already traumatizing as it was because it was outside the country, it was premature, stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
But when I actually had my son, that was when I went through the worst bout of depression I've ever been in my life. And I wasn't even the
Was
one
you
having
together
a child.
with the?
I was together with my partner at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a complete eye-opener. I realized so much stuff about my own childhood. I realized so much stuff about trauma in my childhood that was just like, I didn't even, exactly what you said. Until I went for therapy, I had no idea that there were
That
so
it was
many
triggered from that.
No idea. I was none the wiser.
Yeah.
And again, I wasn't even the one that gave birth, so I can't even imagine what my partner was going through. There was, because it was traumatizing as it was.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even the one that gave birth to the child,
I was just
and I was suffering.
Do you know what? Yeah. Not that what's funny or whatever, because obviously it's choice of words. But from what you're saying, yeah, I would have thought your first child would have been like the one that, because you know, I don't know if obviously your child was planned.
You're right.
or you-
No, because that with my partner, we'd been together for my ex. Sorry,
Yeah.
we'd been together a long time, and the first child was planned. So I didn't experience any trauma from my
I
first child.
see. Okay.
I was actually like, oh, this is because it was planned, blah 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 blah.
So
When
you
my
were
s-
waiting on that child.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then when we had the second child, even put aside the fact that the birth was traumatizing.
Was he planned as well?
He was planned, so
Yeah,
we did say we wanted to have
yeah,
a second child,
yeah.
and we wanted a boy. And we really, and it was all happy and stuff like that. It was all, everyone kind of thought it was good. But this is just, my point goes to show that even when you do feel that you're prepared or you want this
That
or
you're
you've got
ready
everything,
for it, yeah.
when push came to shove, I'm telling you now, life absolutely unfolded. In a way, I'm grateful for what happened because there was a lot of different things that unfolded and needed to happen in my life and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But my reality is when you're in that moment, even when you feel as though you know you're prepared and you're ready, fam, when push comes to shove, it's a different ball game. And that's why I say to you, like, I went to therapy like the year later after I had my little boy. And that's when I sat down with my therapist and discovered about some hurt with my
Underlying
father,
stuff.
some underlying stuff with my mother, some stuff, that trauma in my childhood that I'm telling you no one could have ever told me I had. Until I sat down with a therapist and it blew my mind open. And that's a big reason as to why, like, I'm very adamant about the fact that when you're taking steps in life,
Yeah.
if you know that you're going to make these big steps, if you've got time, go and see someone about it.
It's
Go
not
and speak
even-
to a
it's not-
therapist.
Sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not if you've got time. Because if you've got time to open your legs and have a child,
Oh,
you've got time to
word.
go and sit down and sit with a
word.
therapist. I'm not being funny because I think bringing a child into this world, I don't think anyone really fathoms.
It's a deep thing,
No.
fam.
No one really
It's a deep thing.
fathoms
Do you know that's
what
the
you're
rest of
doing.
your
It's
life?
a deep
Forget
thing.
your
the
rest of
rest-
your life. It's the rest of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one thinks about the child, and
Yep.
that's what pisses
Yep.
me off.
No, but
Yep.
you
To
no,
like,
as
like,
in,
I can't
I'm
even
saying
speak
the
properly.
rest of your life, as in until you, that's your responsibility for.
Yeah, but
till
some people don't
whenever.
even care about responsibility,
But
like
this is the-
thinking about that's a lifelong thing.
But this is the truth, yeah. But this is the reality that I'm understanding about fathers who say that, you know, they want to have kids or they want to impregnate a woman, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not about whether you're providing for the child or providing for the mother, or making sure.
No.
Do you know? Let me be honest with you. That is the least of the problem, and I'm discovering that now. Of course, it's important to make sure
Money's
you've got money.
important, so I
Don't
beg-
get, but hear what I'm saying to you. Understand what I'm saying to you. In the grand scheme of things, it is the least problem. The reason why I'm saying that is because there are parents who have all of the money in the world,
Yeah.
and the child is still empty.
the child is still
It's
empty.
empty,
Life's still
yeah,
empty.
yeah.
So money isn't the answer to these things.
not the answer,
I said
but it's
that's why. That's why. I was,
sorry.
I hate
No,
you.
because
I actually hate you.
I've seen children suffering, and I can't. I
It's
don't
not
want. I
good.
don't want anyone to downplay
don't
the
get
money
it twisted.
side.
Don't downplay it.
I don't
But
want anyone to downplay that.
But the reality of my point is that you go into this thing like fathers go into this thing like a prime example is the stuff that's happened with Nick Cannon. All of these people.
I was going to
that's
actually.
one.
Listen, all of these people.
That man.
No, and actually, there's some other discoveries about the fact that he wants to do this because doctors told him that he's not going to live very long and all that kind of stuff. I don't.
So
That's
because
what's
you're
been
not gonna
happening.
live
So you're
long,
just
That's what's been
spreading
happening.
your
But here's what I'm saying, yeah? Everybody has been using his...
With anyone that comes into your path, you just spread your secrets.
So that's what I'm
to
saying.
them.
Everyone has been using Nick
don't-
Cannon as an example. All of these guys have been doing all of these articles and
Yeah.
quotes and tweets.
Do you know what they
All
were
of them
like?
are doing
Do you
it.
know what I kept seeing from these guys when because I saw obviously the women, that will come and be like, yeah, you want to talk about having kids and whatnot, and then don't use Nick Cannon as well because it's not the best example. And then you hear a man coming and going, but if he can afford it, why not?
So this is my point. Children are not a finance commodity.
If
They
you can
are real
afford it,
human
why
beings.
not?
This is what I'm saying to you, and that's the reason why I'm emphasizing my point about the money. Nick Cannon is worth roughly about 400 million. All of these guys are saying all of their kids are set up for life, all that kind of stuff. If he's not there, why does it matter if he's got money? If he's not there and he's not able to be a present and active father, your money is worthless.
The thing is, the guy's actually, he has good knowledge in certain things in terms of like, life, history, certain things. It's like, you need to be there to install that in your kids, sir.
Exactly.
What time are you having that when within a space of 6 months, you're popping 4 kids at the same time?
With 3 different women.
Where, please tell me.
And why do you have time? Nick Cannon, you piss me off. Why do you have time to do photo shoot? Go and take care of your kids, man. Stupid. Why do you have time? Why do you have time to do photo shoot? Why do you have time to do photo shoot? Go and look after your children. You annoy me. Why do you have time? No, I've had enough of this. He's still got another 4 kids,
Sorry, guys, the ghost.
He's still got another 3 kids. I don't care. I don't hear rubbish. Why do you have time to be doing photo shoot? Why is there? There's too much photograph going on. Go and look after your kids. Enough.
He's got 2 sets of twins.
He's got 7
Nigerian.
children.
He's Nigerian.
He has 7 children.
Do you know Nigeria?
sets of
Do you know
twins.
Nigeria has the highest count of
The
twins?
ghost brought back your cup.
Nigeria has the highest count of twins in the world. Did you know that?
Really?
Nigeria has the highest.
The woman
So
that
if I want twins, I need to be with
You
a
need a
Nigerian.
Nigerian, basically.
No,
My
be
grandma-
careful before you get 4 kids.
What's the tribe?
My grandma had
Which
5
tribe?
sets of twins.
Which tribe?
Yoruba.
Yoruba.
My grandma had 5 sets of twins with the same
I've
man.
even got shoulda just saying Yoruba.
Yeah, I'm alright with twins.
Look at her. I'm so sorry, but there was such thing as Yoruba demons that I
What are you
heard.
trying to say?
Yoruba demons are the best type of demon, Sha.
Wow.
I just wanted this is a Yoruba Stan account. Hello.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yoruba men
No,
Stan
it
account.
really isn't because I ain't
Daniel,
no,
you're
I'm
excluded
not
from this,
Nigerian.
bye.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too.
I am the greatest Yoruba demon you've ever met.
Is he not a Yoruba?
He is Yoruba, but he's got a girlfriend, so we don't care about you.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh.
for the buff
she'll
Yoruba
tell you
men,
though.
for the buff Yoruba men that are looking at me right now, I'm ready to get married by March next year.
That's
Afro-
your
I-
birthday.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I want to be proposed by then. At least proposed to by then. Afro Nation
She's
is not
expensive,
happening.
guys. Don't wish it.
Afro Nation is not happening.
Do you know what's so funny, Daniel?
So it's time for me to get
It's
married
just
now.
the last episode, yeah.
Yeah.
The last episode, we're having a conversation with this woman, and she's like, "You guys trying to get married?" I
She's
said,
a
I
joker.
don't.
Leave her.
I don't want to get married.
Ask Linda. Ask
Just
Linda.
one
No, no.
episode back.
Ask Linda.
If you
No,
bet
no,
on my thing,
no,
I'm
no.
gonna
Ask
smash your head open. If you bet on my thing, I'm gonna
Linda.
smash your head hole open on this camera.
Ask Linda.
Yeah.
Ask Linda what I said the discovery was the other day. I text her. She texted me something because we've been talking about something.
Yeah.
About a month ago, she said, no. A month later, she came back to me. She agreed with what I said. I texted her. These were the exact words I said. You are full of shit.
And I said, I know I am.
You are full of shit.
At least I'm accountable.
Every
Accountability
single
is
month,
my
do you
second
know,
name.
every single month, yeah, I say something to Linda, and she'll be like, no. You should have seen. No, you need to understand. I'm not done with this point. I need you to understand. We were sitting in a restaurant, She was telling me, no.
Why
Month
do you sound like I'm
later,
in labour?
You do need to. You do know there's a date that.
I know, it's just, to be fair, I had to make up to Linda because I've been a bit of a shit friend. So
Yeah.
I had to make
Oh,
up
so
to her.
You're
So
being a
that-
shit
that-
friend to me.
No,
right
no, no.
now.
I'm aware. I'm aware. It was very expensive.
Pressure.
No, I'm aware.
Apply.
Don't worry. Don't worry about it. I'll fix that. But
Okay.
but at the time anyway, sat down with her. This is a
I can't take
This
Linda.
girl was arguing. I said, okay, no problem. Month later. Oh, and the thing is, you see, let me tell you why Linda's full of shit. She won't come to you humble, you know. She'll tell you as if she was the one that said it.
We've
She'll
had
be like,
checks.
yeah.
That's what I said. I was saying earlier, she has that, you know, the audacity these men are carrying. She has that.
She's
I don't
ridiculous.
understand.
So I said it to her. I said, honestly, you are full of shit. I said, you are full of the biggest pile of shit I've ever met in my life. You're full of shit.
Okay.
And she said, I know. You've only just found it out now.
I know I'm full of shit, but I still get loved, so it's fine.
But we don't have a choice, do we? We have to love you.
No, we actually have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Now what? Do you know what I mean? You're gonna love me regardless.
The level of our friendship is now past friends. Like you're practically a cousin now.
Exactly.
No, you're family. It's just family now. That's family. That's La Familia.
I'll be like, that's my cousin.
That's
she's
La
Nigerian.
Familia.
Yeah, but she's my cousin.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about where she's from. We're distant cousins.
My cousin.
Her dad's mum's
my
uncle. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but do you know where it is? I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and I was like, no, it's probably really narcissistic, but I'm amazing in every way, and I feel like in my love life, it's the only point where I'm really shit, and I feel like I can't be amazing in everything. So maybe that's where I take the fall. You know, let me just be shit.
Do you know what's so funny about? Do you know? So obviously, I don't want to take.
You know,
but do you know what?
Area.
I was trying to take it. Obviously, like with that, yeah, it's so funny you said it because I was thinking of like those kind of points, yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, do people know that there's obviously like the spiritual realm and the physical realm, right?
Okay.
And within this, like, obviously I don't want to bring it back to church. I'm not trying to preach, guys, but I'm just saying there's certain things, yeah, like everyone knows about the whole generational curses and stuff like that. But do you ever like wonder like, could this be because of
She's just full of shit. It's not generational curse. It's
no.
She's just full of shit.
I'm definitely aware of generational curses.
That's not her problem. Don't give her that.
I'm very aware.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to give her anything.
No, she's just
but
full
I'm
of
just
shit.
saying because you know there's certain things.
Fuck you.
Because you know you're certain things you'll see like a pattern, yeah.
Yeah, I see
in
patterns.
a household, yeah.
Yay.
Like in every, even in my, and this is what I'm saying, like because with in terms of like your Christianity or whatever, like faith, I guess, yeah. Because obviously I don't want to say Christianity in terms of like Daniel and everything, but it has like obviously a belief of Christ and knowing obviously my faith in Christ and how I pray, like everybody's like faith levels are different. That's what I say, like I believe in terms of like that's why everybody's journey is different, because the faith that you have is allowing you to flourish and go forward in that, because you know if you call God and say I'm stuck right now, I'm in a position, I need your help, he will turn up.
Yeah, God is my G.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
it might be a situation where I'm going through, I might need to fast and pray.
Yeah.
Just because of like of my journey, do you know what I mean? In terms of my faith journey.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the same thing in terms of like
relationships.
I
don't think a lot of people pray.
Because no, I don't think a lot of people pray on topics like that. And you know, I believe in terms of like this whole generation and things, like it's different with everybody in different aspects of their lives, because there's people that will excel in education, like everybody, like going to school is nothing, doing degree, masters, doctorate, nothing, but come to now get a job, it's a problem. Come to now get the job in that area, it's a problem. And it's not just in your life, or like, let me not say, God forbid, rebuke that, but in that person's life, but it's also like in their father's life, or also in their uncle's life, and it's like everybody has this high level of education, but some way, somehow,
they can't get past.
They can't get this good job.
Can I?
But then people, so I was just gonna say, but then when you're not like, for me personally, as somebody in the faith I have, I feel like when you're not in tune with that, in terms of knowing there's a spiritual realm that could be occurring, that's fighting this, and you're not, you have some of the physical, you're seeing things in the physical, like, it was just not my luck, or it was just not me, or do you know what I mean, like, this is not for me, or like, maybe next time, or that it's not for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it is for you. And you know, and you might only find out when you end up dying and meeting your creator, and it was like that was for you, but I needed you to call me to intervene. And I feel, and it breaks my heart when it's just like I feel like I see certain people that just not into knowing that maybe you just need a 1-2 prayer. Like somebody like me, I might need to fast and pray and do a little extra just to get that past overall. But somebody that is just, you know, I don't know, just met Christ and they think, and you know, Christ is that because you've just met me and you're getting to know me, I want to show you like what I can do for you. Do you know what I mean? And in that situation, boom, bam, it's just that little opening that door. Do you know what I mean? And it's just people go through that, but they don't actually know what is the key of like unlocking that kind of breaking that curse,
breaking the curses
and everything. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like if you're to put it into a level of someone who's not spiritual.
Yeah.
I feel what that essentially is as you grow up, there are relationships in your past that you may or may not know about. So it could be your parents, it could be past your parents, it could be generations that you're completely oblivious to.
Yeah.
And I feel as though there is a reality of that becoming an issue later on in life. Not necessarily that that's why what's going on with you or I, but you have to, if we are talking about from a sense of someone who's not spiritual, what the reality is we would call that trauma to a degree or something. Trauma or experiences. And what you have to learn to do effectively is navigate out of that. So I know my past relationships, as in my parents' relationship, I know and I can see attributes where they went wrong, and I've seen that unfold in my own life. And the reason I've seen that unfold in my life is because I've seen my parents' relationship, and I've seen, actually, for example, that in particular, my dad was like that, my mum was like that, the relationship was like that. So in a point, it's like and again, you could put it all along the lines of spirituality or generational cross or whatever you want to call it. But I guess if you want to be all inclusive about it, a lot of that is what we would call trauma or childhood trauma. And it's not necessarily where you've had something happen to you. It could have absolutely nothing to do with a child. It's just the experiences of your childhood or your parents or whatever that's affected you as an adult. Yes, but the reality is that sometimes you'll be none the wiser about it until you. I 100% know there are issues that I have now that I'm dealing with. I had no idea about until I got to 30 and I realized, oh shit, that's exactly what my dad did. That's exactly what my mum did. Or that's exactly what they went through. Or my brothers, or my sisters, or my, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said to you, sometimes your parents' relationship might actually be absolutely fine. And it could be generations before that. You just don't know. So I feel that's why it goes back to the point. It's actually about why I say therapy is so important if you can do it, if you can afford it, because you realize so many different things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If you can afford Chinese, you can afford it.
No, I understand.
I'm sorry.
But do you know what? Like, it's true. I understand what you're saying because obviously, in terms of somebody that wouldn't believe, like, but it still correlates because of what you had said earlier. Because you said, you know, in terms of obviously like Christianity is faith plus work,
100%,
right?
100%.
So and even it's biblical. It says faith without work is dead.
Yeah, that's
right. So it's one of them ones is that for me it's like because as I see people and in terms of like, you know, people that will verbally call themselves Christians, I don't want to put quotation marks, I don't want to offend them, but people verbally call Christians, but then they have a hard time believing of like the communications of which is praying, having with God, do you know what I mean? It's a conversation, and I think it's different from actually going into warfare. Which is also biblical. Yeah, we have in Ephesians it states the armor of Christ that you need to wear to go into warfare, and that warfare in Ephesians is also stated it's not a physical fight. You're not I'm not fighting you because of that what you're giving to me. You're not fighting or your grandparent or whatever it is that got sent or descended back that's now cursed you. You're fighting the spirituality of it. It's the spirit that you're fighting, and it's because it's all done in the spirit, and that's what I meant in terms of the spirit world. And the thing about it is, what I find really like mind-boggling is people can't get their heads around this, but they'll believe in like ghosts.
My thing is that if you believe in God, you have to believe in the bad.
But
Do you
but
know
they
what I mean?
don't.
And this is what I've said to everyone.
It's true.
When people be like, Juju is not real, whatever, I'm like, guys, you cannot believe in. So if God is not real, what is he fighting?
Right.
What is he protecting us from? What like
Hey, it's a good
like
point.
really and truly, like it doesn't make sense. You
And
can't
that's-
believe
that's
in
what
a
it's
God
n-
that's protecting you from someone. You're not believing that there's any bad spirits out
Spirits
there.
around.
It doesn't make
That's
sense.
that's why my mind is always
Doesn't make
like,
sense.
why can't why can you make sense of the
That's
two?
a fair point.
It just for me it's just like but
Yeah, I think that I generally feel like that's why I was like, even if you're not a Christian, even if you don't believe, the reality, the nuances of it actually all can be very, very streamlined all along the same lines, and that's the
Yeah.
reality. The solution around it is, if you're a Christian, obviously you have your faith in God or whatever. But actually, whether you're a Christian or not, looking at the lines of like therapy
No,
and actually going to talk about those issues
Yeah.
with someone, regardless of whether you're a Christian or not.
Therapy is like saying it's basically going seeing the doctor for the mind.
Facts. That's exactly what it is.
That's all
That's
it
exactly what it
is.
is. And I always say this to people all the time, regardless of how strong you feel your faith is, whether you have, it doesn't matter. Therapy is not just for one. Therapy is for everyone.
Therapy
It makes
is
a
secular.
big difference.
No, but
Therapy
no,
isn't
you can
secular.
Therapy is
you
therapy
can
is
get-
medicine.
You can
That's
get
what it is.
It is, but this is what I'm saying. You can get a therapist that's also a Christian. Like,
You can.
You can get a Christian therapist, but what I don't also want is for them to relate everything back to Christianity.
Christianity. That's
yeah.
right.
Some things
That's
are
right.
actually medical. Some
Yes.
things are actually trauma.
No.
Yes.
Some
facts.
things are
Facts.
secular and of this world. Because guess what? We are in the
The
world.
world.
100%.
We are in the world as
100%.
Christians.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that everything that you experience is not going to be Christian based or
Facts.
warfare or anything else. It could just be a natural pattern of
in
life.
in life,
Do you know
like
what I mean?
what you're going through. No,
Yeah.
of course, I believe that.
Facts.
And
So
I
don't,
believe that as
I
well.
don't completely agree with like Christian therapists purely because I feel like Christian
I don't think
Christian
it's all of.
guidance.
I don't think it's all of them that like.
But I think the whole point of having a Christian therapist is that they come from the angle of Christianity.
But it's not about
What,
coming
therapy
from
from
no,
the
but
angle?
it's not coming. It's having, for me personally, how I see it is having the understanding of also the faith side of things.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because the person obviously has a Christian, they get it, that side, but then they might not all round agree as like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think what it's true. What you're saying is not wrong. I think what the reality is though is sometimes it's better to find someone who's impartial, so that it's not biased just because you have faith. Because sometimes, like the reality of it is like, so for a prime example, a lot of pastors will act as therapists, or they'll have those attributes, and it can completely make sense. But they're not actually therapists, and actually,
And they're not.
and they're not going to give you advice that's actually in your
I wouldn't.
coupled.
I wouldn't
Therapists shouldn't
personally.
be
If
giving
I
advice
was
anyway.
talking about Christian, like a therapist that's a Christian, I'm talking externally. I wouldn't even look in church. Can't lie.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Some people will get the realities that mixed up. So
Yeah.
there are, I can almost guarantee a lot of people will use their pastors or spiritual headships as that type of therapist. And they'll think, so because you guide me through it, you give me advice, you give me, but the reality is actually you might need to see someone who's actually, for example,
from the environment.
away from that environment, who's trained in actually what is the right thing to do that's
Say that
best
again.
for you.
Trained.
You know, that's what I was being
But
specific
you
Because a
can
lot of
get
people
someone
are
that's
not
trained
trained.
that's also a Christian.
Yeah, but they can sometimes.
that
The
can-
reality of it is sometimes
you
they
know
can
what
be
I
very
mean?
biased.
I hear it. I
No,
hear it.
but that's
I
what
hear
I'm
it.
saying. Like you can, because I can't lie. Like obviously, when I was looking for a therapist, I went all the way to America. Like I contacted a lady. What do you call it? And it was through what's that app that everybody was talking too much on?
Clubhouse.
House party.
Yeah,
Oh.
Clubhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually through Clubhouse that I ended up finding out about her and stuff.
Okay.
And it was through how she spoke
Okay.
to the lady that was having the issue or whatever and anything like that. And and it was only at the end she was the person that was also in that room asked her to pray at the end of it all, like was just like
okay.
but when she was giving advice she was just
She was.
So
yeah,
just giving advice,
and it
yeah.
was sound advice.
Yeah.
That's
and then
good,
at
that's
the
good,
end,
that's good.
But then
the
that's
w-
good
and
then.
then that's what I'm saying though. It's like I get obviously the aspect you guys are coming from, but it's not generic. It's not for every
No,
Christian. Do you know what I mean?
Of course
It's
not, of
no,
course
but I just want to pull it out to all those that it's not like every Christian
Christian
therapist
therapist
is
come
gonna
from
always
biblical.
relay back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when I even had a conversation with her, like she gave me the vibe like she's definitely like well rounded and stuff. Even like from what I even follow her on Instagram and stuff like that. Like how she put, it's not so everything godly or do you know in that sense and stuff like she's well sound, like she has a good sound mind, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like these people do also exist. Like can't lie, I'm not a Pharisee, but I do exist. Like as in, like I'm a human. I'm very sound. I'm a Christian, but I also understand the things of this world.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
No,
and whatnot, like, and how, you know, to gain souls, you can't just be like, I can't get myself involved in this. I can't. You have to actually try and speak to these people to understand also where they're coming from to kind of gain their souls and get their trust. But and
good balance. I think it's a good balance to everything. I think at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you, and obviously got to do what's comfortable for you. So I think in everything, ultimately the message is be balanced about everything. It's not, you can't just lean to one side, regardless of what you might be, what you believe. So you need to have a balanced approach to everything in life, and that's whether you're whether you have faith. You need to do research. That's the reality of it.
You need to trial and test.
You have to try and test.
But welcome to 3 Tiers Pride and all of that.
Like, subscribe, and them ting there. And obviously, you know the
if you like
deal.
our conversation, please comment. Ask which parts you like.